Welcome to Fright Night. For real. Fright Night is a 1985 horror comedy that I'm rather fond of and that you probably are fond of too, because who am I kidding? You've seen Fright Night probably. Who hasn't? By the way, appreciate the shirt. All right. Check out the fit. Stabby Road. Yeah, I don't listen to the Beatles, but I do enjoy these guys. So that's a plus. That's a plus right there. I got this shirt from my fiance's grandparents because they're the coolest. So Fright Night. Let's get back into the topic of the video. It came out in 1985. It stars Chris Sarandon and a bunch of other people whose names I don't know because Chris Sarandon is the only big name in this movie that I'm aware of, other than Roddy McDowell. Look at that. I had another name in there. A steel trap this. But, yeah, so it stars those guys, and those guys are awesome in the movie. So I'm going to tell you right off rip, I actually used to not love this movie as much as I do right now. Matter of fact, had you asked me after last time I watched this movie, and this is why you got to rewatch movies, guys. Had you asked me after last time I watched this movie, what do you think about Fright Night? I'd be like, it's good. I'm not gonna say it's not, but like, The Lost Boys exists, so like, I'm gonna probably prefer to watch that if I want a vampire movie from the 80s. And holy shit, I've seen The Light, brothers. I've seen The Light. Fright Night, in my opinion, is better than The Lost Boys. Don't come for me. I still love The Lost Boys. It's a great movie. But I'm going to get into why I really have kind of had an awakening. A real born-again moment here. Not Christian, but like Fright Night-ian. I think, yeah, that works. You know what? Absolutely. Fright Night-ian. And I'll go ahead and tell you why I loved this movie as much as I did on this watch. For some reason, it's taken me this many watches to appreciate the full scope of these things. Also, check out the poster in the background. House on Haunted Hill. That's not there because that's one of my favorite movies. The Doctor Who thing's not mine. That's my fiance's. But that's not there. There it is. That's not there because it's one of my favorite movies. That's there because that's one of my favorite posters. I do like House on Haunted Hill, but like, that poster is much better than that movie will ever be, to be entirely fair. But anyway, yeah, I don't know why it's taken me so many watches to really appreciate the full scope of this film, because it's great. I mean, first of all, I will say every single time I watch this film, I appreciate Chris Sarandon more and more and more in this movie. He is the perfect vampire. I love him so much. His performance is suave and cool and menacing and all the right things that make a vampire performance a vampire performance. I mean, genuinely, I think he is top tier. I hate doing the whole comparison thing because I know everyone's like, you shouldn't compare two things that have like nothing to do with each other. But I can't help but compare them in my head. Understand this doesn't affect my rating at all of either film. I'm just, for kind of my own reference and my own sanity, I'm comparing them. But The Lost Boys, I think Chris Sarandon outdoes Kiefer Sutherland's performance as the vampire in The Lost Boys, which is saying something, because I like Kiefer Sutherland in The Lost Boys a lot. But Chris Sarandon just has this air of cool around him. And also, let me just say this. Let me just homoerotically gush for a second. Chris Sarandon, what a handsome son of a bitch he is. Oh my God. Oh, you are a handsome man, sir. And he's still handsome. He's still freaking handsome. You see him recently with that crazy fucking mustache? That is some wild shit. I guess, I don't know how recent that picture is, but like, it seems pretty recent. I'm just saying, sir, you have aged well. That man aged like a fine wine. Um, and this movie is no exception. All right, he is one spicy dish. All right, I'll stop. I'll stop with all the gayness for now, but hit me up, Chris Sarandon. No, but I do think he's a very handsome man, and he pulls off the vampire very well. You know, like I said, very suave, just calm, cool air about him. Yeah, and there's something about the way he's so nonchalant about everything that's so menacing. Uh, he's always confident that stuff is gonna kind of go his way. So he's never scared. He's never scared until he has reason to be. Like when Roddy McDowell holds up the crucifix and he just grabs it and crushes it because he can just smell on this motherfucker that he doesn't have any faith. Because the second time around, it had to be something innate, right? Because the second time around when he does that, he grabs it and it burns his hand, and he didn't realize Roddy McDowell had gotten faith. Um, but yeah, that's all cool. I'll just say I really love him. But also in the vein of the acting performances, the guy that plays Evil Ed is so good. It's such a unique performance. I think I found him annoying in the past. I don't at all anymore. I am very amused by that performance. I'm it's so unique and so weird. He really pulls off that kind of outcast, and he plays kind of like a really sad, tragic character, and I think he pulls that off really well. As far as the rest of the cast, they do fine, to be honest with you. I like Brewster's mom. Brewster's mom has got it going on, and she kind of does, but I do like her, how she's so yeah, she's so like, oh, you kids do your thing. She's so kept to herself and doesn't involve herself in her children's business. She's just sitting on the couch reading her magazine, doesn't give a shit about the fact that her son's girlfriend's yelling about making love. She's just sitting there having a lover's spat, children. uh, yeah, I like Brewster's mom, but in multiple ways. But now I don't remember Brewster's girlfriend's name, to be honest, even though they say it like 400 times in the movie. I like her okay. I find her kind of annoying, to be honest. I find her character a little bit annoying. Yeah, just a tad. Just a smidgen. Just a smidgen, But then Brewster's also kind of obnoxious. This movie really is kind of held up by the great cast around the two main actors, which kind of sucks. Like, I wish I liked them more because it's the them movie, It's not the these people movie. I mean, it is kind of the Chris Sarandon show in here with his brilliant performance, but you know, Roddy McDowell is awesome in this movie. He plays kind of the Van Helsing character, um, and he does really well at that. He's kind of this TV show guy that his show's not getting enough ratings anymore, and so they got to cancel it. And there's some excellent self-aware meta commentary in there about, oh, nobody wants to see vampires anymore. They just want masked madmen in ski masks hacking up young virgins. And that's great. There are a lot of really solid jokes in this movie. It doesn't stop there, but beyond just the performances, which I find great all around, the special effects are incredible. Every one of the vampires, when they're vamping out, look great. I would say Chris Sarandon looks a little weird, but I think that's just because I like his regular face so much. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh no, bring me back that handsome man. Right? Give me that beautiful face of yours, Chris Sarandon. Bring it back. Just break out of the makeup. Your facial beauty can do it. I'm sorry. I have face envy of Chris Sarandon. The man has just impeccable structure. I don't know what that is. Um, but anyway, moving on. my man boner for Chris Sarandon's coming out. Oh God, they're gonna find me out. Uh, but God, yeah. I'm sorry. The special effects. Yeah. So I mean, the effects on everyone else though are so good. I mean, even on him, they're good. Just like I said, there's something. But I'd just rather see Chris Sarandon being his suave, cool vampire self. I don't know. He did so great that he almost didn't even need the effects. But Evil's effects looked awesome. He's scary in a few parts when he turns into a vampire. I'm sorry, is that a spoiler? It doesn't matter. The movie came out in 1985. Kiss my ass. Okay? I'm gonna spoil it if I feel like it. Um so yeah, the effects on his face look great. The effects Linda, her name's Linda, right? Is it Linda? I feel like it's Linda. The effects on her, Brewster's girlfriend, if in case her name is not Linda, and I just made a fucky wucky, but I think it's Linda. But her effects are great when she turns. Just that weird little smile thing she has going on. I don't know that I've always thought that looked so creepy. Um, I guess not a smile. It's just like a gaping maw. It's very unsettling. Um, I really enjoy the different ways that they play with vampire lore because vampires, I don't know if you're aware, a lot of people aren't actually. Can't It's not just that they can turn into bats, they can turn into wolves too. It's essentially like a creature of the night thing. They can turn into creatures of the night. And the wolf effects were awesome. I really appreciated that they had him turn into a wolf. It looked a lot better than the bat. That bat looked a little interesting. I don't know. It looked like a little gargoyle or something. Strange looking little guy. But yeah, the wolf effects were amazing. The score ain't half bad. Um, I mean, God, is there anything else I'd like to gush about in this movie? I do enjoy the atmosphere. Just, that real 80s campy teen high school, yet like there's something dark and wicked going on. Something dark and wicked is afoot. And yeah, I love all of that. The one issue, if you could really call it an issue, I'd call it an issue that I have. I am not a fan. Actually, I'm not a fan of a couple of things. Okay, one thing that I'm not a fan of, one thing I don't really get. That's where we'll go with this. The thing that I'm not a fan of is the nightclub scene. I don't know why that scene doesn't speak to me. That's a little too 80s cheese for my personal taste. I love 80s cheese. I really do. But the whole nightclub scene, at least the beginning of it, uh, this scene is still awesome by the end of it. Because by the end of it, when Chris Sarandon is just like killing bodyguards and just like ripping them up, that's awesome. Everything leading up to that is really cheesy and in a really unpleasant, uncomfortable way, in my opinion. I don't know how to further explain that, so don't expect a further explanation. That's just how I feel about it. Um, but yeah, so I mean, half that scene I like, half that scene I don't really. And then the thing that I don't really get is Chris Sarandon, Jerry Dandridge's familiar, I guess? What is he? Is he a vampire? If he's a vampire, why can he go out? That must be a piece of vampire lore that like I'm not filled in on. Maybe it's I guess well, okay. You're probably going to flame me if I use Renfield logic. The movie Renfield with Nicolas Cage. I guess they do say that he gets like a percentage of Dracula's power in there, right? So I guess if that's just a thing in vampire lore, then he would have a percentage of Jerry Dandridge's power which would allow him to be shot several times and still die, and still not die. So I guess that makes sense for a familiar, or whatever he was supposed to be. But in any case, that's the thing I didn't get. I think I might have just explained it to myself. And then the other thing was the thing that I don't quite like. Honestly, this movie is incredible. It's so much better than I remember it being. It locked me in, which I'm ashamed to say movies rarely do nowadays. A lot of the time I'm on my phone, I'm dicking around, because you know what? I have a shitty attention span, and that's part of this generation, unfortunately. Okay, we all have Instagram, and we all have YouTube Shorts, and we all have all this crappy crap that craps on our attention spans, and it really does. It does terrible things to it. Okay, I already had ADHD. This whole Instagram, YouTube Short thing has been terrible for that. All right, so before you start doing it, understand it's addictive. Okay, they should put like a warning on Instagram, like a pack of smokes warning may cause brain stupidness or something. I was about to say a naughty word there. I caught myself. I wouldn't have in private, but this is a public platform. Anywho, I don't want my employers hearing that. Anyway, all of that being said, I think that Fright Night is like a 9 out of 10. I do. I think it's like a 9. I really can't believe how enthralled I got in the movie, because I turned it on. I was like, I just want something on in the background while I do my thing, because I wasn't really in the mood to watch a movie. I was just like, I wanted to like lay down, maybe take a nap, and I didn't take a nap because this movie was on, and I got sucked in. Got caught in the suck zone. So yeah, it did not suck my will to live. I don't know. I said suck too much, and it reminded me of the scene from Dumb and Dumber when he's got his hair in that thing. He's like, "It's sucking my will to live," or something like that. And all right, well, that was the random thought for the day. Probably about the 5th one in the video, but you know what? Hey, kiss my ass once again. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to press that subscribe button, because I don't know, man. For more content. I'm sorry, that was a little personal, wasn't it? I looked you in the eyes for a second. We got to know each other there. All right, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully. Probably not.